It's on. Making sure.
I don't want to make the same mistake. All right, so what I want to talk about today is some basic minimum goals that we have to implement and make sure that each and every one of you guys are accomplishing these goals each month. These goals here, they take into consideration, and I mean I actually put HVAC type, but it's both, and your names are on there. But basically, some of you guys do partial installs, and you should be doing sales, right? So I kind of added, kind of showed you here how the minimum expectations are. If you're somebody who installs most of the time, none of us are just installers. I mean, we all know that. We also go out and do non-ops, and we do other things, HPCs, whatever the case is. Now, warranty work is not going to be included in this because warranty doesn't bring us any money in, okay? But basically, if you're doing installs of $20,000 a month, then you have to do $10,000 in sales in addition to that, so that you're at $30,000. Because to be in a truck, you got to be for one guy, you got to be at $30,000 a month revenue of some type. So if Kevin's selling jobs and you're installing them, or somebody's flipping a job, like Renars flipped a job to Kevin yesterday, and Kevin sold it, you know, so he may get the flip on that, but the bottom line is he's got other things going today, so that's going to go to somebody else. We still have to get the $30,000 per person per month for us to be able to pay our bills and, you know, take care of business. That's the minimum. So I kind of just estimated, and this is going to fluctuate week by week. Obviously, there's going to be some weeks where we've got a big repipe, and that's all you're doing is doing an install, right? The next week, you may not have any installs, but you're just doing regular service and repair type of stuff. So it's going to fluctuate, but trying to average it out and say this is our goal. So 30,000 is the minimum. Obviously, Kevin shouldn't be doing installs, but he does go out and do other work. So he has a much higher sales goal. And Sarah has a much higher sales goal just because she does sell quite a bit. So I'm going to expect her to continue to be at least at that minimum or higher, okay? The rest of you guys that are not, have not been in a truck by yourselves completely at this point, like Jesse, driving with Mike, you're going to be now, so that's going to be the expectations for you. I know there's going to be some install work, there's going to be, you know, sale work. So when I'm saying sales, I want you guys to understand something. When you get out to a job, and say for an example, you have to call up either Sarah or Kevin. All right, well that's, and Kevin sells it, that is part of what your sale is. I mean, you're setting up the call, getting him out here, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to say, okay, well that means Kevin only has to sell your jobs and not anything else that he goes out on. He still has his own individual goal. You still have your own individual goals, okay? So I don't want you to try to add everything up and say, oh, well, you know, Kevin sold this for me and I was never out there and he gave it to me. Well, that's, you know, if you're getting the service volume, that doesn't necessarily mean you sold it. You still have to sell the work that you go out to make that goal.
So by your point, the service volume would count as install revenue.
If you did not, if you were not at the job, and so this is where it's a little bit, I want to make sure that everybody understands it. So if you go out to the job and the service volume is yours because you sold it, that's obviously your sale, that's your service volume, right? Right. Now, if Kevin sells a job by himself, you never went out to it and he just gives you the service volume, you didn't sell that, that's your install.
Right.
So
that doesn't count towards my sales goal.
Right.
That counts towards my
So two separate things. So I want to make sure you guys understand. Install if somebody else sells it for you, and just gives you you're getting service volume, which is commission. That's fine, but that's just your install.
Work done versus work sold.
Exactly.
So
But
whoever
if you're
sells
involved in the sale, which means you set it up and get Kevin out or Sarah out, and they just close the deal for you, and then they go. You know, you were there from the beginning, and you're there. That's your sale. So that's the difference between the two. So we have to have a combination of at least a minimum of $30,000 per person. So if you have a second person, not counting an apprentice, if you have a second person in your truck, and right now you're the only one currently that has that, then you guys have to add your numbers together and make that happen, okay? Because you should be able to be more productive, you should be able to get a lot more work done for two people. He's doing this, he's doing that, cleaning up, everything should be done faster and hustling to the jobs. So that's the minimum expectations. I'm hoping that you guys can do better than that and crush it, because if you want to make real money, obviously you're going to do better than that. And real money doesn't mean, and I want to throw this part out when it comes to real money, because, and I had a couple of conversations already. If you're just making, you know, bare minimum money each week, it's not good for you, it's not good for us. So what has to happen for you guys to make that money is, and I was telling Mike this yesterday, you got to grab the bull by the horns and take responsibility for things, and not just allow another person who may be busy, including Kevin, to be the only guy following up on things and getting things done. So if you're working with Kevin on something and you're saying, okay, I'm waiting on Kevin to get me numbers on this, or I'm waiting on Kevin to get me specs on this, or whatever, you're hurting yourself and you're hurting the company, especially when you have nothing going on the next day and you're just kind of like, okay, well, I guess there's nothing for us to do. Ready to go? Let's take off early. You know, I understand if there's an early day occasionally, but we've been swamped and you're making a ton of money and that kind of thing happens and there's not a lot going on. All your follow-up stuff is done. All of that kind of thing is great. But if you're wanting to make serious money, you should be thinking about whatever excess time you have available. Who can I follow up on? What job can I go in and make money, make happen? Sarah does it all the time. So the funny thing is I listen to a lot of these calls, even when you guys are calling into dispatch. And Sarah, for an example, will say, okay, hey, Jared, what do I have on the board? Oh, is that it? Okay, all right, well, I'm going to have to make some calls. Can you pull up this number? I need to call so-and-so and see, follow up on a couple of things. I need to make some work happen. And that's what she does. So when Sarah's making a six figures pretty consistently, when you look at her numbers week after week after week, she has a slow week here and there, you know, and then she'll have a few busies, and then maybe a slow, and then a few busies, and so on. But averaging, and she's doing really, really well. And it's because she doesn't just sell when she goes out and has a high closing rate. She's also looking and digging up that work. What can I find from previous customers that I've been to? Or, you know, for an example, we have Joni Trempola, we have Michelle Zhang, we have, you know, Ben Guards, we have all these people that have a lot of work that's really out there, that sometimes we just got to go in and dig and find the work and make it happen. And if you're building the relationships with your customers the way you're supposed to, we should not have an issue with, as long as we're following up, keep that work going. So that's what I mean by spending the time and energy, because you guys have the ability to do it. It's just that you got to put the effort in, and you can't be expecting somebody else to be doing the work. So if, for an example, you guys are working together, you got to hold each other accountable, because you're kind of right now a team at this point. So if one of you doesn't follow up and you're thinking the other one's following up, and, you know, let each other know by communicating, hey, I'm going to do this, and then hold each other accountable to it. Did you get the specs on that? We need to get this customer. We need to get this estimate out. We need to get this going. That kind of thing. That's how it's going to be, how you guys are going to be successful, which is going to make us successful. Does that make sense? Any questions on this part? It's pretty simple. I mean, it's not a lot. You think about it on a weekly basis, guys, it's really not that much. You know,
Works out to about $1,000 a day.
it's not much at all. It really isn't. Okay? So you're gonna have days where you're gonna do, you know, $3,000 water heater. The next day you may only do $400 or $500. I get it. That's how it works. It's gonna average out, but it's not. Those are really minimum numbers, and I don't see why there's any reason that we can't do that. Okay? So that's the minimum goal. When you start doing it and start seeing that it's coming on a regular basis, if you put the effort in, it'll be a lot higher than that, and that's just gravy. That's what we want. Okay? Because that's what we need from each and every one of you guys, for us as a company to be able to continue to pay our bills and grow. That's it. Kevin?
Well, I just want to say that, you know, we're going to do whatever we can to help you guys get to that level. But, you know, if you can't get to that level, you can't be here. It's just it's a matter of the math. We can't afford to keep somebody in a truck and they just don't grow. you know, and it's really not, you know, it's not fair to you in the end, because if you're not growing, with the company, then, you know, maybe this is the wrong trade for you. And I don't really see that in this company with anybody here right now, so I'm not saying that, but I think, you know, I just want you to know where, this isn't just, hey, if you don't make it, you're out. It's like, you know, if you're struggling, I'm be more than happy to work with you and give you pointers and to help you get to those numbers, because in the end, you know, you guys need to be making money for your families. We need to be paying our bills, and we need to make money as well, because we've got our bills, and it's a team effort, you know, simply a team effort. And that's why we wanted to give you guys some specific guidelines as to what's expected of you at a minimum, so that, you know, wake up in the morning, you know, that, hey, today, you know, I gotta do 1,000. For me, you know, I wake up every morning, figure I'm gonna be working 5 days a week. To get to 100,000, I gotta be somewhere around $4 grand a day in sales, which, you know, I've been kind of there, kind of not. So I even have to step up my game to get to where I need to be. But you know, I think in team effort we can all get there, and we can start having Christmas parties again like we used to, and bonuses, and you know, all the benefits of being in a healthy, thriving company, you know, that come with that. So, and you know, we want to reward you guys as well. So, but it's, again, it's a team effort, and you know, Alan and I will both be more than happy to work with you guys to achieve those goals.
And so I want to throw one more thing in this, because it reminds me of these conversations that sometimes Kevin and I have them, and sometimes Tina and I have them, because we're talking about different people and different things that happen. When I say take the bull by the horns, I also want you to take into consideration, and this is for every one of you, if you're an apprentice, doesn't matter what position you're in the company, if you don't know something and you feel like you need training in a specific area, drains for an example, because I know that Jesse's not strong on drains. Well, I've heard that since I've been here, and I've been here a year. So Jesse's got to take the bull by the horns and say, okay, look, I need to learn drains. I want to learn drains so that I can make money, because the last thing that we want to take away from him is the ability to know how to do something where he can make money. So if he doesn't know how to do drains, don't be waiting for Kevin to do a class on drains. You need to be in there and be punching on Kevin and say, Kevin, look, man, I need to learn drains. What can I do? What can you show me? Let's get out today. We got time. Can you show me how to use this damn machine? Right here in the back, we have a sewer cleanout. Whatever. Let's do it. How do I take it apart? How do I put it back together for brakes? Whatever the case, ask people. Sarah, she got a drain job. Sarah, when you get to the next drain job, can you call me? If I'm not doing something, man, I'll come over and just spend a half an hour with you so I can know how to do this, because there's gravy in that sewage, I'm telling you. There's a lot of money in sewers. We don't focus on like advertising for that, but when you get a call like that, someone's flooding out with sewage, it's a good money call. So know how to work the equipment so that you can do the work. That's on you guys, okay? We can teach you things if you ask, but you gotta be aggressive about it, okay? And apprentices the same way. If there's something coming up and we can teach you something, Kevin goes out to a drain call, you let Kevin know, Kevin, if anytime you got a drain call, let me know. I'd like to come with you, or I'd like to spend some time with you, whatever it is. And I'm just using drains as an example. It could be anything on hydronics or steam or whatever that you've had gone out and you couldn't do the job because you didn't know how to do it. That's on you if you don't try to do something about it, okay? So learn what you guys can, and don't just let it go and expect someone's going to come up to you and say, hey, Jesse, come here, let me show you something now. You gotta be aggressive about it. That's how you guys are going to succeed, all right? So I just wanted to add that to it, because that's a frustrating thing for me too, because I hear it and it's like, damn, I've been here a year and you still don't know how to do that? Well, do something about it, man. That's all I can tell you. That's how you're going to make more money, all right?
Yeah, and just a thought, when you come to work and there's nothing to do, I would suggest calling somebody who is doing something and just going there. You know, I was really aggressive about learning when I was an apprentice. I was on call every weekend. Man, I just hit it. I hit it hard, and within a year, I went from minimum wage. I was getting paid like $5.50 an hour, something like that. I went from minimum wage to within a year, I was making $50,000 a year. That was a lot of money back then. Okay, not so much now, but some of you aren't even hitting 50 now, and I'm telling you, it's there. It's not that hard, but you gotta really dedicate yourself and make some sacrifices, because think of it this way: people spend $20,000-$30,000 a year going to school. You guys are getting paid, you know. So what is it to you if you work a day for free, you know, where you don't even charge the technician, but you're just riding along and learning and helping that person, you know, and picking up some skills. You know, it's just the thought, and taking other people's calls, and just everybody knew in the company, and it was a big company that I was working for. Everybody knew that, hey, if you wanted to get rid of your call, ask Kevin, because that guy almost never said so, you know, and so I had a reputation for that. But, you know, I also, like I said, you know, I needed to move, because I couldn't stay where I was at. I was living with my in-laws. My wife was pregnant. I'm like, damn, you couldn't have lit a bigger fire under my ass. And so I had to move out, and I wanted to take care of my family, you know. And I knew if I applied myself, I'd be rewarded, and sure enough. In fact, 2 years later, I bought a condo. So, I mean, that's what happens when you apply yourself, but you've got to put the effort in. You got to make the sacrifices. If you don't, you're only going to get out of it what you put into it, period. And this is fertile ground here. I mean, man, I'm telling you, for somebody who really wants to learn, and you're going to probably learn more than you will in other companies, this is the place, man. You got to stick your nose in there.
And that includes, guys, some of you are, when it comes to on-call, okay, I know nobody likes on-call. No one really likes to be on-call, enjoys it. They want to spend time with their family like all the rest of us who want to spend time with their families, that's it. But I'll tell you what, like when Sarah's on call, and I'm using Sarah because she makes the most money here out of all of us, but she earns it. She earns it. She will take a call, doesn't matter. Sometimes it's like, oh, I can't be there for a couple hours because I got this event going, so don't schedule me from 1 to 3 or something like that. But anything else that comes in emergency, she takes it. She works, when I look at her hours that she turns in every single week, she does work overtime. I mean, she's not out of here at 4 o'clock, or she's there working till 7. If there's work to be done, she's doing it, because she knows that I may not get something right this minute on this job. If I'm building a relationship, I'm going to get something next time. I'm going to get something the time after. And you got to keep working it. That's how it works. I mean, it's not a 9 to 5 job where you can say, okay, well, it's 4 o'clock, I gotta get out of here. What you should be doing is saying, okay, hey, you know what, it's only 2 o'clock. What else can I squeeze in the next couple of hours? You know?
Even just phone calls and follow-ups.
That's all it is. You don't have to just walk away and say, okay, well, my day's over, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. If you have that attitude, you're not going to make the money you can make. I mean, you're not going to make the potential, because it's there, but you can't just expect it to just fall in your lap. That's not the way this works. It's a relationship building process, and once you build a relationship, which we have a lot of relationships, 17,000 in our database. So if it's something we've been out to already, you know, we've been building relationships as a company, and if you treat them right, then the next time you go out there and treat them right, it's easier to sell those kind of jobs. So your salesmanship doesn't even need to be that high when you have that kind of relationship building going on as a company. So you guys can do this, I have no doubts, but we got to put these standards together and these goals so that you guys know what your expectations are, and just think about it each day. Okay, what do I got to do today? What have I done so far this week? You know, break it down to a daily goal like Kevin was talking about. This is what I got to do.
Outside too, in case anybody needs it.
This is what I got to do, and you know, hey, great, I'm ahead of the game today, so tomorrow, I'm not going to just let that go and say, I made enough tomorrow, I'm not going about today. You know, you want to increase and go above and beyond those goals, and I think you guys can all do it if you just put the effort into it and put your mindset into getting it done. And that'll be better for all of us. You got your pocketbooks, our pocketbooks. It'll be good.
Yeah.
All right?
Real quickly, I'll
Go ahead,
ask you a question in a minute, Mike.
Yeah.
Just a shout out to Renars yesterday. We had that class Tuesday on checking heat exchangers, and I know Renars has been a little sloppy with that, just because I haven't heard from him, in regards, and you guys have been killing it, Mike and Ryan. So Renars, sure enough, goes out, gets a call, looks at the heat exchanger, damn, it's bad, it's real bad, okay? So somebody could have got hurt there. Then I go out there to confirm it, and this is a landlord-tenant situation. I go out there to confirm it, and I find all these melted wires
Oh,
in the
man.
system, yeah. And,
Plug heat exchanger.
yeah, it was
Wow.
it was from, it was getting too hot, the combustion chamber. And, customer didn't wanna spend the money, but we got him on financing. I know personally that the customer's gone through some medical issues, they're elderly, the landlord. And, he was ornery and pissed and everything else, but in the end, he thanked me for doing a good job, and, we signed him up on financing, and, what happened is, now Renard's got 2 big jobs today, and he can't get to both of them. But that's what happens, when you just spend a little extra time, make those sacrifices, and it'll pay you tenfold every time. It's doing the right thing at the end of the day, so, thank you.
All right? Yeah.
My point is, for some of the upper level techs, how is that being affected by the time that we have to spend doing advanced diagnostics? Working
It's
with,
not, that's still a minimum goal.
but that takes away from our hours that we would be doing other things, so it does directly affect that goal.
Okay, so these goals are set up, the way I set them up, like I said in the beginning, if you didn't hear that, warranty type of stuff is not included in this. So if you're going out and doing a warranty thing, diagnostic, I get diagnostics takes time on certain things, but I will also say that based on what has been happening, if that time is spent on doing other things rather than leaving early and getting out of here, those numbers can easily be made. That's a minimum expectation. So it's,
But I think what he's saying is, what if I spend 20 hours in a week on a warranty call?
On an advanced, like, we'll take CanRack, for example,
Mhm.
that's a very advanced system,
Right.
and we, as a company, do not have the tooling.
well, here's the way I look at this. If you don't have the tooling, then don't flip and do it. I mean, have somebody else do it and we'll sub it out, whatever the hell we gotta do, because we're not making money on that.
We installed
Well,
it, that is
it's
not
gonna-
an option.
It's
Okay.
gonna cost us more if we sub it out to another company.
Oh, yeah.
His
You-
point
you-
is that, so in Mike's defense, Mike tends to be the techie dude,
I know that.
and he's quite mechanical.
Very.
So our inclination is, if there's a warranty call, we're gonna send Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Cause, I know Mike's gonna find the leak, I know Mike's gonna fix the problem.
Mhm.
And he's gonna get to the cause of the problem, not just fixing it,
Mm-hmm.
so it doesn't keep reoccurring and reoccurring and
No
reoccurring.
Band-Aids.
So, yeah, so I realize too that those are still sales opportunities, cause there's additional sales that could take place.
They do
But
need their mini splits cleaned, so
Yeah,
yes, there is
but
opportunity for
To your
work.
point, if it gets excessive, yeah, I could see that. And we need to spread the wealth as far as, spreading around the warranty issues. Not just you all the time. So I think that would be a better solution to the problem. And I think to that point, we start getting guys like William trained up and Ryan's available, and even Jesse, I'm sure he's learned something, being with you all this time.
He's learned capacitors.
From a techie standpoint, so he's probably got some skills and maybe a little bit of fear, and those would be the perfect ones to set him on. Then
Yeah.
maybe it's just a phone call to you, hey Mike, what should I do now, or,
Basically, yeah. that's all
whatever,
it'd be.
but,
I'm always available for entry-level diagnostics, guys.
Yeah.
Always available to give
No,
you steps.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just saying that I think I acknowledge your issue, and it's real. And I think we should focus on spreading that out, so it's not, the burden's not on you. Because it does take away, after a while, it takes away from your production, it
and
just does.
I mean, CanRack's been a real big one.
So let me add this to that wheel, so to speak, a little grease to the wheel. You always have a second person with you, right? So
Mhm.
then, as a team, you know, he may be learning some of the things on how you diagnose things, but then he could also be doing these other things to get more work for you as a team. So I'm okay with your team
Scouting the
doing
house.
that, you know, double the numbers up and
The
say,
fun
okay, this is
stuff.
what my team has to do. So William may be the guy, and since he's with you now, he may be the guy that's getting those things and getting you more income as a group. I'm okay with that because I know you're spending more time doing this. So what we have to and spread it out. The other part of that is William will be going on his own, and you'll be having another guy to be working with. So that'll change as well. And then William can take some of those diagnostics as he learns from you how to do those diagnostics, whatever you're doing that he doesn't know how to do now. So that's kind of what's got to happen. I mean, and part of why Kevin and I wanted to have William with you is for you to teach him those things so we can feel comfortable that we can send him out on those types of things down the road. And then he's, you know, self-sufficient completely when it comes to that kind of stuff. So, you know, I just want to, we have to have a goal, we have to have a minimum goal so that we can make our money. I understand if certain things come up, we're gonna have to have a way of passing some of the burden on to your teammates and everything else, but that's what we have to do to survive and to, you know, to grow. Okay? I don't know if that answered your question completely, but we will be spreading it out as much as we can. Because, you know, it's like Iggy went out the other day to a water heater issue. He's never dealt with this issue before. He wasn't, you know, he's installed water heaters, done other things like that, but never dealt with this particular issue. So what did he have to do? Calls technical support. He was kind of scared about it because he's never done it before, but he went through it and just did it. Worked out perfect. So, you know, you guys, sometimes you got to take a little bit of initiative and call tech support and you know, work on it yourself. And then you do have Mike and you have Kevin, you guys have other people here that can help you if, you know, that doesn't work out. But taking the bull by the horns again and doing that, I mean, kudos for Iggy to doing that because he was kind of nervous, but he did it. And natural gas kind of scared him. He's like, okay, you know, I'm opening this thing up on a water heater and I'm doing something that I've never done before. And
It only goes boom in the perfect mixture.
Just keep your cigarette and your lighters away from
It's,
it.
Yeah,
it's a
exactly.
pretty narrow range, actually. Natural gas has a very narrow range of combustion. Same with propane. It's not like
I
gasoline.
feel better now.
There you go.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So yeah, let's think about those goals. Let's get some stuff going and make some money. All right.
You,